Okay, so somewhere up at the top of that hill is supposedly Pogradec Castle, which is today's little walking adventure. Getting to see some parts of the town we haven't seen before. Definitely a winding, circuitous route. And we're definitely going to do some uphill in order to get to the top of the hill.
Hi, we're Jeff and Sandra, American expats and nomads, living abroad, on a budget, one country at a time.
So according to Google Maps, this spot that I'm in right now is a viewpoint. And it certainly does have a view. And then we go from the viewpoint up a little more. And this is where the switchbacks actually start. Even though a couple of them are really, really super long. A few minutes more climb gets us this view. And accounting for the fact that I'm old and out of shape, I'm stopping for a couple minutes at the top of each of these little uphill sections. Although the next one appears to go on quite a little ways before it switches back. Now, I will say there are definitely some views available from up here on the road. That's Lean down there on the promontory. Tushamisht over across the shore there, and then Pogradec's where we started out. So there's been a little traffic on the road. I've had 3 cars pass me going down, and one looked like maintenance vehicle pass me going out. It sounds like somebody else is coming down here, but this road isn't as bad as what I was led to believe from reading some of the reviews. Now along the way, there's some offshoots. Looks like people have gone cross country to cut off the switchbacks. This one that comes off is the most promising looking one. It looks like it doubles back towards the castle here fairly soon. So let's see how that works out for us. Yeah, that's not what happens. It does not double back. It just carries on away from the castle, which is back there. So go back down to the road and try again. And definitely keep an ear out for traffic. It's pretty loud, so you'll hear them coming from a long ways away, because there's a few stretches along here where it's closed in. There's not really a good place that you can get off the road, and the road is only just barely wider than a regular passenger car. Also bear in mind that up to this point, which is I'm probably 2/3 of the way here, there is not much shade along this road, so bear that in mind depending on what time you want to do the climb. If you're walking, I set out about, I was a little before 1, I guess. So we're on the west end of Pogradec, and the sun is off to my left now. So this stretch will be in shade for a while. But then there's a whole bunch that won't be in shade. Alright, pretty close to the top now. Although I'm sure it's further walking than it looks like it is. But quite a little ways above this town of Pogradec now. So, no doubt in my military mind that this is the best view I've seen yet of Pogradec. I'm almost to the top of the hill where the castle is at. It is so obvious from here that Pogradec is built into a valley leading down to the lake. Okay, and at this point of the journey, which is, within sight of the castle, there's a small parking area. And an informative sign telling us about the revitalization of Pogradec Castle. I was expecting a worse road based on the reviews I'd read. I would say that if you have standard passenger car ground clearance, you'll be fine, unless it's a wet day or really cold and snowy or something. It'd be fine for just a regular passenger car. And if you're looking up from the promenade up to the top of the hill, this is really the only thing that you'll see. Revitalization is obviously an ongoing project. I had seen some photos of Pogradec Castle that it didn't look quite this well developed up here on top of the hill. Got quite a little view from up here. No obvious access to this monument to see what's on the other side. I'll tell you what it's all about. Alright, so this is the very, very top of the climb. As high up as you can get. And I'm going to guess by the rebar that that's not a, centuries old castle. I suppose that wall there is probably meant to be the old castle wall. I was prepared to be underwhelmed based on the reviews I'd read that said you make this climb all the way up and there's a few old rocks that if nobody told you there used to be a castle here, you wouldn't figure it out just by looking. So other than magnificent views, this wall here is the reward for your climb. No idea how old this is, how much of it's reconstruction. Maybe the signs I took pictures of would help with that, but I had stopped to read them. It's time for me to sit down and have some water. According to Auntie Google, from our apartment to Pogradec Castle is 3.2 kilometers, which is about 2 miles American, and a 51-minute walk. At the time I got to the very top of the hill, my walking app showed 2.13 miles and an hour and 27 minutes because I had to stop quite a number of times on the climb up. It's not very steep, but it's a steady climb in between each of the switchback turns. So I made a number of rest stops. Also very glad, all things considered, that I didn't do this walk earlier in the summer when it was 28 or 30 degrees. It's supposed to be a high of 20 today, and that's right about the comfort level for this walk. I had to take my jacket off before I made it very far from the apartment. So just coming up here in lightweight pants and a t-shirt, I'm plenty warm. When you come down these little steps, I guess this also goes down the hill some ways. So very few of the reviews talk about the view. They talk about the road, and there's enough room here. I mean, you can straddle the really nasty sections. You don't have to high center your car, scrape the oil pan. You just ease over to the left and slow down. It's also pretty obvious from up here that that water is shallow for a long ways out. You can see the edge of the shelf. So this gate appears to have not been used for many, many years, but the pile of fresh rock here, I suspect that part of the revitalization project is to reinstall a functional gate so they can close it off in the wintertime when it's slick and nasty. Just a suspicion. If you do choose to drive up here rather than walk, look sharp, because there's a couple of these exposed risers that would definitely ruin your day if you hit them when you weren't expecting them and you were going more than about 1.5 miles per hour.